Okay, this is week 10 for web290. First thing you gotta do is download the zip file, extract it, and then you're gonna edit. Well, first of all, there is a PDF file in there. Once you extract it, let me show you. Let me go to that folder real quick. Okay, there's a setup.pdf file. When you open that up, it goes through basically what this week's assignment is. In PHP, a lot of times you use customization for personalization for users as they log into your site. And this example shows how to use a Power PHP modularization. Users will have the ability to register an account, modify personal information along with theme color. So the first thing you'll do is unzip the file that you download from week 10, modify your the conn.php, the connection file, with your local information for your MySQL database. Here mine's localhost, cconcal, techno, cconcal. So basically you'll be modifying username, password, and database name. Just a refresher as far as your database goes. Let me go back to phpMyAdmin real quick. So when you go to the local host for XAMPP, you're going to phpMyAdmin, and I've got a number of connections here, but I'll go ahead and create a new one for this week just to show you. In phpMyAdmin, you want to go over to privileges, and I want to add a new user. I'm going to go ahead and type in for this one week 9 user, any host or local, week 9 for password. Then I want to create a database with the same name and grant all privileges. I want to check all. Click go. Now it should have created this week 9 database with the privileges given to week 9. So I'm going to go back now to folder, and I'm going to go double click on that connection string, leave localhost as it is. Here I'm going to put in week 9, week 9, and week 9. So week 9 user password and DB name. Save it. Finish that. Next thing it has us do is set up the tables on the local host. You've already had it to your folder. This is when you're finished with your local, you'll upload it, but for right now we're just going to skip here to this number 4. to set up the tables, you just browse out to whatever your site is. In this case, it'll be localhost. All the way to week 10, and then setup. What this is going to just delete, it's going to set up the folders and tables, and then it says here the user admin is created by default with a password admin. So let's go ahead and test it here. That is in htdocs week 10, and I'm going to go to the week 10 folder. So it's 2 week 10s for mine. Week 10, week 10. Make sure it's right. Yeah, htdocs week 10, and then the setup folder is where we're going. It says the table has been created and username admin is created with a password admin. Now if we go back to the PHP My Admin real quick, let me show you. There is week 9. It created 2 tables, a members and a modules table. The members has 1 record admin username, admin password. And then modules, no modules of this kind. One module that's created by default with no weather, calendar, form, and blog is actually the only 4 in there right now. So let's go ahead and click on the Start Having Fun. I'll go ahead and log in with the admin. Now I can click on Edit Profile. It'll allow me to select a different theme. We'll do fall, and we'll click all the modules. And submit. So I'm going to update, give us a new theme, color, and then also you'll notice these new modules in here: blog, forum, weather, and calendar. Now let me bring you to the course site for this example, because what you're going to need to do once you set it up successfully locally and everything's running as this one is, and notice these are just pages it's pointing to, nothing in them right now. But when the user logs out and redirects back, you'll notice the only 2 available to the general public is going to be the About, the Home, and About page. So let's go ahead and look at final example here, because what you're going to do once it's working locally, you're going to add some personalization to the existing modules: form, weather, movies, and calendar. Currently, I believe the way it's set up right now, you got blog, forum, weather, and calendar. And in the instructions, you got forum, weather, movie search, and calendar. But it's up to you. You can leave it as it is right now or add your own different modules. These links here are to PHP code to implement these modules into that page. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. But here's the finished example. Blog, forum, weather, module and a calendar module. Blog's not updated, it looks like, doesn't have anything in that. But I have forum, weather, and calendar module. And all of these modules are, like for instance, a forum. This was the contact guest book we did, I believe the first couple weeks in class. You had to create a guest book for one of the practice labs. That's what this is right here. And then the weather is the PHP code from this site here. When you go to that site, it actually gives you the code to put in here, which is the latest module right here. You download that, read the documentation on how to implement it. And then the calendar, same thing. You go to the calendar link for PHP calendar, and it has you download also. I would recommend this latest release. Click use the install guide. But let's go ahead and show you the code for this application. So there's quite a few files in this week 10. Don't be overwhelmed by it. I'll go ahead and walk through this real quick. You're going to have, I'll go ahead and open up the index file first. Because the index file is going to be using pulling a number of other files. The first thing I mentioned, I did email everybody about this. What this will do is depreciate all error reporting. The other one you could use is the one that I sent you in the email, which I believe is error underscore reporting 0, which doesn't report any warnings or errors. So what this line doing is just depreciating any errors that might be or notices to the screen. Session starts for variable sessions that are going to be created. Page is the index location that we're currently on. Session variable called page. Whatever link that the users click on. Let me show you real quick. Whatever link the user is clicking on. Go ahead and go expand here so you can see the toolbar here. Let's bring that up here real quick. Okay, here it is. Down at the bottom of the page right here, just kind of notice that when I put my mouse over the link, this blog one is pointing to a page equals blog, then forum, then weather, then calendar. Did this a few weeks back when we did that CMS program. So that's where this code comes from actually. It's just the one we did a few weeks back, I believe. Let's see what week that was, where you did the that's not it. There it is. The member site here for week 4. That's what it was. So in the code, using that page or that example for that index CMS for a member site. So it has corresponding items it's pulling in for the index page to show up, corresponding modules. The first module it's including is main login. Login success. So it's looking here first to see if the session registered, my username is registered as a session variable, meaning they've logged in. If they haven't logged in, then it's going to go to the else path and give the login success PHP module. So if I go back to this page here and log off, this module up here at the very top, the username, password, login, register, that's actually the login module that's including here the login success.php. Take it back, it's the main login.html. If it's not registered, it's going to the main login.html. If it is registered, it's going to go to the login success. So this page here is a main login.html. So let's pull that up real quick. There it is. Username, password, login, and register. We'll actually look at that code also in Text Wrangler here. This is a basic HTML form. It's doing a post to the check login.php. We'll look at that. Check login.php is just a PHP file that brings in your connection string. There's a session start for variable, brings in your connection string, members table, and page it's referring to or coming from, which in this case is going to be the main login page. Then it's going to bring in my username, my password from that page. Do a select statement using my username, my password. And if it's successful, if it has a count is equal to 1, meaning there's a record for that, it's going to declare a couple session variables here, one for username, password, then do a header redirect back to the index page. Once it goes back to the index page, it's going to reload this again. This time, my username will be registered, then it's going to redirect to login success.php on the top portion of this page. And just a side note, the portion it's putting it in right now is the div called banner. And this is a CSS pointer we'll look at in a second. But let's go and go to the login success page. The login success page, again, a depreciation for error reporting. Session start for variable session. If my username is not registered, it's going to go right back to index again. Else, it's going to echo the username, comma, you have logged in successfully, then a reference link to logout.php we'll look at in a second, and then index.php question mark page equals profile, so they can edit their profile. Now the profile page is just that, a profile page that updates their profile. So if I go back to this site here and say I register a new user, we'll do a username Newton, first name Greg, last name Smith, password, we'll do Greg at AOL.com, phone number, we'll select winner, all the modules. So when the user logs in now, with their login information, it goes to edit profile and now brings up all their profile information, and they can edit that. They can change the theme, uncheck one of the modules, maybe check a new module. There we go. And log out. So let's look at the CSS file for the site. There's multiple CSSs, but let's look at the main CSS for the page. Going back to Text Wrangler here on the index page. There we go. Starting out the HTML information. And it's a home page. It includes css.php. So let's look at that. css.php will bring in multiple CSSs depending on what season they've selected, whether it be spring, summer, fall, or winter. So again, depending on what they've chosen as far as a theme, will depend upon the CSS that they've received. So let's go to the fall one and open that up. Let's go right to the different areas that this CSS is dealing with. The first CSS div file in the PHP is banner. So let's see if we can find that in the CSS file. Here we go. Here's a banner. Background lavender. And this is for the fall. 50 points pixel high. Solid border dark blue. Right border dark blue. Left border dark blue. That's banner. Then right after that, you've got the inclusion of the menu.php. Inside the menu.php file, is going to be just that, the menu for the page. Now the menu for the page, as far as location, it's going to be over here on the left side. And if we look at the code for the layout for that, going back to the index page here, again, first is banner, bringing in the header information. Next is menu. Next is the center content div tag. The center content div tag is going to also bring up different information, different fonts and sizes. Here it is right here. Right content's the next one. And there's the right content information. Okay. Now there is, as far as a creation of CSSs to help you, if we go back to prior week, I have a CSS creation in the lessons folder. There's a Css Creation File. Let's go back here for that one. Let's see which one that was in. Had direct web link for CSS creation. I believe I have it on the course site for our site. Let me look here real quick. Yeah. Let's go there. Here it is. Best CSS tools. And the one we used here. CSS Template Creator, I believe. Yep, this is the one. CSS Template Creator. You can go through and create your template on the fly, how you want it to look, and then once you're ready, you can hit Generate Page Now, and you can actually then use the CSS file it creates on your page. So CSS Creator is one that does a good job. The other one, this one is not too bad. This Layout-O-Matic, you actually download it to your computer to create it. CSS Creator walks you through setting up a CSS file layout. So if you wanted a left column, say at 20 pixels, or let's say 100 pixels. And right column maybe the same, 100 pixels. Column for too wide here. Oh, it's percentage. We'll do 10% on left, 10% on right. Here's the CSS file, left column, main column, right column. So just a few examples of CSS creations that you can use. So getting back to this, you're basically, what you're going to do is a couple things to be able to modify modules or add modules to the existing shell I gave you for week 10. You're gonna have to do a couple things. We'll go right to the meat of it as far as how it's done. So forum is one of them, one of the modules that the user can check or uncheck that's built in. Right now it's just an echo command to forum. But if I go back to my web290 projects and let's go to week 10. And let's go to the forum file. On that. I'll just go ahead and show you on this one since I don't have it on this Mac. I'll show you how it works. Right now there is a forum file that has just the word forum in it right now, echoing. What you're going to have to do is actually put in some content for that. And the way to do it, pretty simple. You have PHP easy step and then this PHP form script. Let's look at this second one, form script. This is a form script that can be used to embed and easily set up in a site as a demo. What it looks like here. And then this first one, create a simple PHP form step by step, walks you through how to create one on your own. And the one I use here actually on my live site, let's see here, is a guest book for forum. That's what I use for that one. And so let's go ahead and do that one real quick. Back and see, I believe week 2 or 3. I have a guest book creation. We use the code from that and add it right into that. Here it is, guest book, I believe, yeah. So it is week 3, there we go. So let's go to week 3, get the code for that. And it's a lab, I believe. Yeah, there it is. So I'm going to take that week 3 folder, I'm going to copy it and put it in week 10. I'm going to rename it to forum. There we go. I'm going to rename it to forum now. And then we can actually do a couple things. We can actually create a wrapper in that form, or we can do an iframe. So let me show you here how I did it on my live side here. I'll do it that way. Okay, so let's pull up week 10, and we're doing projects. Here we go. So here's my forum that I have here. Contact, edit, index, update. One thing you might have to edit on this one, I believe, is the connection pointer where you're pointing it to. Yeah, and what I had to do on this one was create a root variable pointing it to the root of my document, and then using root dot operator and then the actual path to where my connection string is for week 10. So going back to the forum file though, let's look at that. Yep, this one's actually using an iframe, PHP iframe, to the forum folder, pointed to index.php. So that's forum. What I will do is after this podcast, I'll post all this total completed example so you can see it. The next module we'll look at is a weather module. That was actually founded and downloaded by going to the week 10 link right here for weather. So we'll do weather, then we'll do calendar. We'll do weather and calendar. We'll stop at those two. So here's weather. Here's the download from the site. Has a README file, tells you what to do to create the module. And then in weather.php, you have to actually include, instead of an iframe, I'm actually including that default first page document, which has Rockford as one of the code. So all this is actually given to you. You just have to figure out what code it is for your city, which in this case, Rockford Airport was KRFD. So that's the weather one. And then lastly is, let's see here, calendar. Here's the calendar download. It has its own config file, it looks like, for that one that you had to create. It actually might have let you do it upon a setup, I believe, but there is a README for that. Do another iframe for that one. So the iframe, I'm doing a calendar. The form, I'm doing a calendar, or the form, I'm doing an iframe as well. And the calendar, doing iframe. Form, I'm doing an iframe. Weather, not doing an iframe. And so what you're going to do basically is look at my example. I'll complete and upload it to this source file so you can download it and look at it. And if you can maybe just add, modify the code to fit your site, which you'll have to modify the connection conn.php file to do that. Once you get it working, go ahead and upload it to your external site. You will have to create a database on your external site to do this and update your connection file accordingly. On your site for external PHP, there's a MySQL area that'll give you the code to put in for your MySQL connection string. One of the examples I'll show you here on my Mac that from last semester, student last semester, connection string. Let me pull one up here real quick. Back one. There you go. Here's a connection string from an external site on Lime domains last semester. It'll give you everything, even on the 00 web host. It'll give you information for that to upload from the website. And that's what I'll end with, is how to get to that information to update your connection string on 00 web host. So let's go there. Oh, forgot to put the code in. There we go. So go into your cPanel, and you're going to have a database section here. There's phpMyAdmin. No databases in mine yet either. So you'll go right into the MySQL management. I'm going to add a database, and I'm going to call this one web290 for the database, and put in a password. Create the database. Okay, this is a connection string basically that you'll need for the connection for the database. And so I can actually copy that information, bring it into your connection string. I just modify it for my needs. So host, there's your username, and database name and username is the same. Password. I'll delete this afterwards. So I've got my connection string here. So just to show you a live example of this, I'll go ahead and save this to the example we've been looking at tonight for week 10. Week 10, I'm going to overwrite this connection string that's out there, hit replace, and run the code for week 10 just to show you how it sets up the file. So go back to the setup directory. So it's now going out to my external site and setting up those tables using that connection string for my database. I'll go back to my control panel while it's modifying it still. Go to my SQL, enter my PHP. I now have that new database created. Let's see how we're doing there. Sure I got the right files extension here. A space after that's probably what did it. I have a space in between the end quote and the semicolon. Save it, do it again. Might be because I'm on a local host too instead of on the server. We'll find out. Just trying to show you how it sets up the tables on that site with the correct connection string that you have here. And because it is going out external, probably will take a little longer. So anyway, once that's created, it's going to basically create a database, or the two tables that were created locally will be created here. And you can test that to make sure. And so once you've created the database on your 00 web host, update your connection string, your conn.php file. You can then upload everything to your external site as always to do your testing. The only thing you have to change when you upload, the only thing you have to change from what you have locally to what you have external will be that connection string file. That'll be have to change from your local host information to the PHP information. And just remember that. That's all you'll have to remember to do. And there should be a documentation screen here. I don't want to go to that. Let me go back a little bit more to the main page. Yeah, because I'm connected on a local host, it won't let me do that. But when you're uploading this, it will work. So let me go ahead and show you that real quick. Okay. Go back to my C panel. There we go. So yeah, if you forget where your connection string is, you can always go to MySQL. It'll show you here in MySQL what your connection string is to that database. In fact, that's what the server name should be on that, instead of what I have here, which is what mysql.0.webhost.com. Yeah, that's it right there. There's a host, username, database is the same. So let me go back to a file upload, just to upload a file real quick to make sure that's working on the upload. Now I'll go into my public HTML folder, and I've already got some files in here, but I'm going to go and upload that conf file from this week's exercise. There it is. Let's go and upload that. Says it's uploaded it. Make sure it's in there real quick. There it is, conn.php. So I'm going to go to the website here real quick. And type in conn.php. Doesn't show anything on here, but we should be able to see it on the database now. Go down to phpMyAdmin, enter phpMyAdmin, click on the user, connection, one more file I got to upload, sorry about that, is the creation file for that. We'll create a folder in here called week 10 just to mimic the structure real quick. In fact, I've already got one right here. And it looks like everything's in here as should be for the local. Okay, good. So what I'm going to do is go back here. Week 10. Week 10 setup. Make sure it's the right structure. So we got week 10 and setup. There we go. Says it's been created successfully. There we go. Now let's go back and make sure by clicking on phpMyAdmin. Enter phpMyAdmin. There we go. Now the table has been created successfully. Alright, so that concludes week 10's exercise. Just a reminder, I'm going to upload the remainder of week 10 that we went over. You will have that as a source to look at. You'll add and modify 2 or 3 of those modules. You'll get it working locally. First thing you'll do once you download the file is you'll have to set up the conn.php file to your local host. Browse out to that folder that this week is in, which should be week 10/setup. It'll create the tables, create a user called admin username, admin password. Then you'll be able to test that by adding the existing modules that are in there, which are just blank stubs out there. And then I'll take it back, it's not going to be blank stubs, I'm going to give you the full version. So you'll be able to see it as I showed you here. Then you can modify those modules to your liking. And once you get it all working locally, then you can upload it. The only thing you'll need to change when you upload is the conn.php file. You will need to go through the setup process one time on this, just like you did locally, and then you're good to go. If you have any questions, give me a holler.